Hello, I'm Jeff Belanger.
Hello, I'm Ray Auger.
And this is kind of like podcast number 140 of the New England Legends podcast.
No, it is. We've got to
right.
stand behind this.
All right, it is. We are going to go back to the vault again, as we did last week, while we're still stuck in quarantine. We want to say something each week. We want to bring you some story. So we're going way back.
Well, I mean, these are stories that unless people are binging the show, they may never have heard before.
No, especially this one, because this is all the way back to episode 10, which was Halloween of 2017.
I almost consider going back to episode 4 or 6. I can't remember which one. It was the Fenway Park one. That's one of the originals.
That's right. I mean, we hadn't really figured out the format yet or anything, but it's still a great story.
Well, yeah, and Fenway just celebrated a birthday recently. That's what made me think of it.
That's right. Of course. Yeah. Because it's April. So this one, though, is the devil is a very prominent figure. And it occurred to me, Ray, that we have talked about the devil a lot.
What does that make us?
I don't know. But man,
does that worry you at all?
A little bit. You know, the devil comes up again and again when you're talking about New England legends and lore.
Sure.
I mean, we've got Devil's Footprint. We've got, the devil loose in various towns in Salem. I mean, he just keeps coming up.
Well, Daniel Webster had a very famous story that involved the devil, right?
That's right. The Devil and Daniel Webster. We all read that in school. Yeah. I don't think we've ever done anything.
I don't think we have. No, because I think the story is so well known. I don't know how much we can dive into it and bring up information people don't know already.
No, but this is one that has a lot of elements that I think people don't know because it was a Halloween special. We start, and we won't ruin it, of course. But if you've all heard of jack-o'-lanterns, of course, but we have our own version in New England of the story, and that's what we're going to dive into. And this is one of those stories that we could never have done without the incredible voice acting talent of Michael Legge.
He's amazing, isn't he? He's been with us since the start, pretty much.
Since the beginning. And so he's been on, I don't even dare count, but he's such a great actor and
Don't count, because I feel like we'll owe him something if you count.
We probably will. But he's such a great voice actor. Any character we need, he just nails it, and he's so good. But this is one where he played 2 characters, actually, both characters. And just nails it. And so it's a story you haven't heard unless you've heard the podcast way back when, and it's called Captain Jedidy Cole and the Devil.
It was told in a different format, if I remember correctly. It was more of a story or a poem that was recited with production and sound effects and Michael Legge. So it was a different format for us, but it's a fun listen.
Yeah, it's different than any other episode we've ever done in that it was taken from a very old book, but then, I rewrote it and sort of modern, just made it a little more accessible, but then Michael Legge made it come alive, and your production just killed it. So a fun story. I figure it's spooky times. Why not jump into a spooky tale, right?
Definitely are spooky times.
All right.
I'm still enjoying watching the comments come in and the posts on our Facebook group. It's always nice to hear from everyone, and we'd like to hear from you guys even more. I think more so now than ever, because we can't put out those regular podcasts that we're used to. So we're going to rely on you guys to really help us out.
Yeah. And thank you to our Patreon patrons, patreon.com/New England Legends. They're sticking by us, and we appreciate it. And we're still putting out new content for them as well. So thank you all, and please stay safe out there. As soon as it's safe to do so, we'll be out there with new episodes. But until then, check this out. Way back from the vault, Captain Jedidy Cole and the Devil. Hey, Ray, what are you doing?
Well, Jeff, considering it's almost Halloween, I'm carving a jack-o'-lantern.
I see. I like the spooky sharp teeth you made there. But let me ask you something. Do you know the origins of the jack-o'-lantern?
I actually do. It has to do with a deal someone made with the devil.
I'm Jeff Belanger.
And I'm Ray Auger, and welcome to the New England Legends Podcast Halloween Special.
So you do know the story behind the jack-o'-lantern?
Sure. It's about a ne'er-do-well Irishman named Jack who tricked the devil up a tree and wouldn't let him out until the devil promised to leave him alone for all of eternity. When Jack died, he couldn't go to heaven because he was a bad guy, and he couldn't go to hell because of his deal he made with the devil. So he got stuck.
Story goes that the devil took pity on poor Jack and gave him a glowing ember to light his way through the eternal darkness. So Jack carved up a turnip and put the ember inside, creating the first jack-o'-lantern. When the Irish came to America, turnips were hard to come by, but pumpkins, they were everywhere. So we continued the tradition to this day.
It's a great legend, to be sure, but did you know Cape Cod, Massachusetts has its own version of the story?
Well, that I didn't know.
This is the story of Captain Jedidy Cole and the devil.
I'm guessing Captain Cole made his own deal?
He did. But before we spin this tale, we should tip our hats to Elizabeth Reynard, who published the book The Narrow Land, Folk Chronicles of Old Cape Cod, back in 1934. It's her book that first introduced me to this legend years ago. But we're going to tell it this way. It's October of 1840, the golden age of the sea along New England shores. Fishing vessels, whalers, and cargo ships clog the ports up and down the coast. But we're sitting in a boneyard on the outskirts of Chatham, Massachusetts. If Cape Cod looks like a flexed arm, Chatham is right at the elbow, facing the open Atlantic waters. It's just past sundown, and there's a crispness to the autumn air. There's a casket sitting next to a grave waiting to be buried. Alongside it, corpse candles burn, and inside lie the mortal remains of Captain Jedidy Cole, a seafaring man to be sure, but a drunkard and a scoundrel as well. His widow, Sarah Ann, is walking back toward her empty home. We see the spirit of Captain Cole slowly rise from its casket, then stumble just a bit as Jedidy tries to get his ghost legs beneath him. A voice from the distance calls his ghostly attention.
I see you there, Jedidy. I've come to collect my due.
Jedidy now leaps from his casket to face the dashing gent meandering toward him.
I sees you there, devil, and I reckon my soul is the least you deserve. But give old Jedidy a 10-minute start in my boy knife, and I'd think ye a good sport. Ah, Jedidy, I've had a soft spot in my heart for you since you were as tall as your daddy's footlocker. But 10 minutes or 10 days, I'd still have you. 10 minutes is all I ask,
Jedidy said.
How about one more favor for an old friend?
The devil paused to glance as the widow Sarah Ann disappeared into the shadows.
Very well, Jedidy, for your widow. What is she again, your third or fourth wife? I'm afraid I've lost count. The third wife was a mistake, as everyone knowed it. 10 minutes, and your knife. Off with you then. I'm counting.
Jedidy took a few wobbly steps on his new ghostly legs before he stood tall to regain his composure. He grabbed 4 corpse candles from around his casket, then leaped the fence into a nearby pumpkin patch. Grabbing a pumpkin, Jedidy quickly carved a face with his knife. He placed a corpse candle inside and set the glowing face atop a fence post. Cutting up some of his funeral shroud, he sliced 3 more pumpkins free from their vines, and quick as any able-bodied sailor, Jedidy fashioned a sack, placed the pumpkins inside, and made his way down to Hawes Tavern. Now by this time, the devil gave up counting to 10 minutes. Where the devil dwells below is as dark as pitch, so he can't see as well above ground. He squints as he takes a gander around him, and believes he sees Jedidy's glowing face smiling at him from the edge of the pumpkin patch.
Ahoy, Captain. I see you hiding by that fence post, but I'm afraid you won't be grinning much longer once I take you home.
The devil closed in on the pumpkin lantern, all the while talking to Jedidy Cole.
Jedidy, I've been watching you your whole life, and I never did care for the way you coddled your sailors. You might as well have been tucking them into their bunks at night.
Captain Cole was used to the devil being as close as his coattails. But as Jedidy sat there at Hawes Tavern, he heard the devil's voice echoing over the fields and through the window. It made the captain furious.
You lubber! You never lasted 5 minutes aboard one of me ships.
The devil's head snapped toward the shore to where he heard Captain Cole's voice.
I could have guessed you'd be down at the tavern, you drunkard,
the devil said. Then he squints his beady eyes and turns back toward the pumpkin face and tipped his hat.
Begging your pardon, sir, I mistook you for another.
Captain Cole cursed himself for giving up his position over a little insult.
I need to keep my ghostly head.
Jedidy took another pumpkin from his funeral shroud sack, and with a rapid series of slashes, He carves another face, then places his second corpse candle inside. Setting the pumpkin on the bar, he dashed out the back door just as the devil was making his entrance in the front. The devil, seeing the glowing face at the bar, now saunters over, knowing the captain is trapped.
I knew I'd find you, Jedidy.
The devil sat down next to who he thought was Captain Cole and ordered himself a dram of rum. One drink became two, then three, as the devil went on and on to what was waiting for Jedidy down below. Soon, the devil began to wonder why his old friend was suddenly so quiet.
You know, Jedidy, I've got one of your wives with me back home. She can't wait to see you again. What was her name again? The girl from Singapore?
The devil's voice carried all the way up the coast of Cape Cod to Eastham, where Jedidy's ghost was running north. But when Jedidy heard the devil disparage his former wife, it was more than he could take.
Damn you, devil! That woman was a saint, bound for the nun house the day I left. She's made for heaven for sure. Aha, I knew you were too silent. I'll be at Eastham at your stern before you can blink.
Jedidy cursed himself for his foolishness. With only 2 pumpkins left, he jumped the fence into the Eastham cemetery and searched the headstones until he found an urn-shaped monument. He glided up beside the stone and carved another pumpkin into a face and placed a corpse candle inside. Satisfied with his effigy, he lit out north toward Wellfleet. Moments later, the devil arrived in Eastham and spotted the grinning pumpkin in the cemetery.
You're not as tall as you once was, Jedidy, but you're as sure-footed as you were when you weren't a ghost.
The devil said as he approached the headstone. Up in Wellfleet, Jedidy fought back his laughter at fooling the devil once again.
He ain't gonna trick me this time, old man. I got 1 candle and 1 pumpkin left. I gotta keep me wits.
The devil poked his 2 fingers into Jedidy's stony chest.
Ouch!
The devil said,
Jedidy, your ghost body is as hard as an oak keel. What keeps you so strong?
This was more than Jedidy Cole could take. He burst into laughter.
It's the Jamaican rum, old man. You don't get the good stuff below and it makes you soft.
Back in Eastham, the devil glanced at the glowing pumpkin next to him.
I'll be begging your pardon, sir. My quarry awaits further north.
Captain Cole sped north until he found the last oak tree in Wellfleet. Quick as a squirrel, he climbed the oak to one of its highest branches. He carved his last pumpkin and placed his last candle inside. On the way back down, Jedidy lit off north again and was near the north end of Truro when the devil arrived at the oak tree in Wellfleet.
There's nowhere for you to go, Jedidy. Come down out of that tree or I'll be up after you.
The devil paced back and forth beneath the tree. Many people don't know this, but the devil doesn't like high places. He prefers to be on the ground or down below, because up high is where God and angels dwell. Getting no response from the glowing face in the tree above, the devil grows furious. He tries reasoning at first.
Come on, Jedidy. I'll take you for 1 more glass of rum before we go home.
But no answer comes. The devil can take no more of the grinning fool above him, so he claws and climbs the oak. He's nervous at first, but his rage pushes him higher and higher until he's within reach of the glowing face. The devil pushes his arm toward the grinning fool on the branch, but misses, sending the pumpkin crashing to the ground, where it lands with a splat. The devil slips, his black cloak catches a tree branch, and now he's swinging to and fro in the oak tree. Even though Jedidy Cole was now north of Truro, he could see all the way back to that old tree. The sight of the devil swinging from the branches in Wellfleet caused him to roar with laughter.
I'd say you was in a pickle barrel, old man.
The devil instantly caught sight of Jedidy further north.
So, there you be, Jedidy. Let's hear you laugh when I have me flint on ye.
The devil frees his pistol from his waistband, and no sooner had he squeezed the trigger than a misfire caught his cloak aflame, freeing him from the tree and sending him tumbling to the ground, where he lands in the smashed pumpkin. In a fury, and quick as a cannon blast, the devil darts north toward Jedidy Cole's laughing ghost. In moments, the devil catches up to Jedidy in downtown Provincetown. Jedidy stops running. He places his hand on his knees and huffs and puffs.
I give up, devil. You and I's been together my whole life. I couldn't get away from you then, and I can't now. Lead the way, matey. I'll follow you home.
The devil smiles, then speaks.
Why, Jedidy, we've arrived in Provincetown. We're already home.
Well, that settles it. Next year, I'm carving a Jedidy lantern. Happy Halloween from all of us involved in the New England Legends podcast. Remember, you can listen to this and all of our past episodes on our website at ournewenglandlegends.com.
And you can help us out by subscribing on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you get your podcasts, or by watching the New England Legends television show on Amazon Prime.
Until next time, remember, the bazaar is closer than you think.